Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode. We're here at the Gate of Madness, which is the second to last mission in all of Nightfall, and in my opinion, one of the hardest missions, if not the hardest mission. There might be a few that were harder in the entire Guild Wars game. And yeah, when I first started playing Nightfall, obviously things have changed a lot. I'm hoping to breeze through it now, but when I first started playing Nightfall, I was playing a Paragon, and I found this really, really hard. In fact, I stopped playing Nightfall for about a month, just because I got so frustrated with this mission. Which is really cool, I think, because we're coming up to near the end, and the very end of Nightfall isn't particularly difficult, I must say. So they kind of throw this really hard mission at you, and then kind of a really epic mission afterwards. And they kind of complement each other nicely, so I like what they did here. And yeah, everything's going to kind of come together here. Let's speak to the Runic Oracle. The temple you seek can be found here, but entering it will not be easy. So yeah, this temple that we're looking for, we're hoping to commune with the 5 gods. We've got no idea whether this is going to work, but there was an old temple to the 6th gods that was once in the Crystal Sea, and it's been dragged down here. And in this temple, actually, do you remember ages ago I was talking about in the Desolation how every god has got their scriptures? And I was talking about the Crystal Sea and how it turned into a desert when Abaddon fell. And I said we won't learn the full reason why this war between the gods broke out until we find Abaddon's scripture. And his scripture, the only place to ever find it in the entire game, is within this sunken temple right in the heart of the Realm of Torment. So that's what we're going to be seeing here, along with other things that are going to come together, like Shiro and the Lich and so forth. So without further ado, I say let's go in, let's do it. Contacting the 5 gods will be a great challenge. Long have they abandoned this place. To enter the temple and call them, you will have to defeat 2 of Abaddon's greatest generals that command a large number of Margonites. We need to get to that temple. If you are truly ready, you can begin your assault. We are ready. So, I mean, this place is all to do with the gods, but after the war, they left Tyria. There was the Exodus. So, how we're actually hoping to commune with them, God knows. I mean, the most we can ever get, really, on Tyria these days is their avatars. So, this is really just one last futile hope. This is another mission, I think, particularly the cutscene at the end. Oh, Comir speaking. She says, the Temple of the 6 Gods lies just beyond this chasm. Right, okay. We must reach the temple and try to commune with the gods. This may be the key to defeating Abaddon. And yeah, particularly with the cutscene at the end of this mission, this is one of those bits where I always thought that if Guild Wars was like a novel or something, it could be such a dramatic kind of the climax of the whole story. You know, just we have no other choice. This is it, really. We just have to find the gods, and I reckon it could be quite an emotional bit actually. Anyway, here is the chasm, and you can see kind of more of these giant skulls. You can see some out in the outpost. You can see sort of the whole area has kind of changed a little bit. We're now in the realm of madness, which is weird because it's like one of those realms where I don't think there's any quests to go to, so the only time you ever really see it is here in this mission, and you actually miss a lot of cool stuff here, I must say. There's quite a lot of cool things to see, but no one really has any reason to go see them. And in fact, in this LP, I probably won't be going to see them just because it kind of gets in the way. From now on, I'm pretty focused on just going through the main storyline now, guys, because I mean, we're pretty much at the end. We've seen it all by now. This is our last chance, really. Anyway, there's these giant skulls, and yes, the Guild Wars.dat can enlighten us about them. Oh, I got a gold, cool. Because basically the start of this is, like I said, this is a difficult mission. There's a lot to do here. The start, you kind of get a choice. Do you want to go around this huge chasm that's like a bottomless pit with all these kind of waterfalls and stuff, or do you want to go straight through it by going across these kind of bridges that are on the top of these skulls? And we're going to choose to go across the skulls because A, it's kind of faster, and B, the Guild Wars.dat can tell us cool stuff about it. If you go around the outside, you'll find yourself fighting loads of Margonites and Torment creatures. Like, Torment creatures love to pop up here. We're getting quite close to Abaddon, so like there's so many Margonites, it's unreal now. Lots of Torment claws are going to be popping up at us and stuff. And then there's Torment demons as well, like you can see that group there. But when we walk over to the bridge, which is just over there, you'll actually see that a load more pop out. And you want to be a little bit careful with them, because obviously if you're not, you can kind of aggro too many things at once. But so like if you watch me here, come on, I know you're here. Come on, Torment demons. There we go, and they will jump out from the chasm, and then you can just kind of pull them back. Because I was just trying to avoid that patrol there, you see. But yeah, if you can choose to do that, or you can go across the middle bridges, and on the middle you can find the Titans. And the fact that the Titans are there can confuse people if they read the Guild Wars.dat, but I actually think that the Guild Wars.dat isn't referencing the Titans. So pretty much we're going across the skulls here, and you can hear, I believe, I can't hear it right now because my sound volume is very low, but I think you can hear like a noise, like a blast furnace. And this place is called the Screaming Spans, okay? And the description of this place is that it was these kind of bridges were carved from the skulls of titanic beasts that Abaddon slew at the dawn of time. These creatures have turned to stone and mired in lava, sentenced to eternal torture. The sound of the blast furnace in this region is their screams. Okay, so you might listen to that and think, oh right, okay, so it's talking about the Titans, these giant beasts. It's actually not. If you think about the Titans, they only started to be created after Abaddon's fall, which was obviously a long time after the supposed beginning of time. What it's actually talking about here are the Gigantus Lupidicus, or I really should learn how to say that name, the true giants. They're talking about the true giants, like Terrier's dinosaurs, the things that were here ages ago, back with the Elder Dragons before the gods even came here. That is what it's talking about here, that we're actually walking around on the giant skulls of these things, which I think is a really, really cool little thing, actually. Easily missed. I just love it whenever the true giants are mentioned, to be honest with you. They're just so mysterious and awesome, and we know so little about them. I kind of hope that somehow, I have no idea how they're going to do it, but somehow they'll be introduced to the plot again of Guild Wars 2, just because the Elder Dragons were around at that time, you know, and maybe they've got some history with one another. So as I said, we're now in the domain of anguish, and here in the domain of anguish we also get an effect, and this is arguably one of the more brutal ones. This is one of the reasons why this mission, especially a long time ago, used to be considered very difficult, and that's because it reduces all healing effects by like 15%, which can be brutal. I mean, in this mission there are some quite big hitters, like as you can see there's a Torment Claw already here ready to hit us. A lot of patrols come close together at the start here, and it's just very easy to over aggro and take a lot of damage, and then that 50% really can build up. I mean, if you're relying on lots of really big heals, then 15% can cut it down quite a lot. And yeah, back when Nightfall first came out, it wasn't uncommon to see loads of pugs here and lots of people constantly failing. Of course, like I said, now it's changed. We can now have all our heroes with us and all kinds of other stuff. And actually, in fact, I don't usually try and make this into too much of like a guide. I like to try and focus on the story, as you know. But this is one instance where I will show you guys a very easy way to deal with a particularly annoying enemy in this mission. If you've played it, you'll probably know who I'm talking about. I just love how in the distance as well, like it's all blood red everywhere, but in the distance you can see like so many of the skulls going around. It does occur to me that they look a bit like the skulls that we saw near the Fortune Teller before, but I don't think that there's a relationship there, because the ones with the Fortune Teller are like specifically lit up and they're in this very specific area like that, while these are kind of just all over the place. Anyway, we're coming to the end of the first leg of this mission, if you will. It's a long mission as well, so the end is very hard. So this is why it was frustrating for me, because you die at the end and you have to do the whole thing again, and it is quite a long mission. So there's 2 Torment Claws up here. I'm not actually sure, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not sure what happens if you keep going around the chasm. But the end, the way forward, sorry, is through here. You've got to come up past these Torment Claws. I know there's a patrol down here, though, which is probably going to catch me out at some point. But we'll see how we do. Yeah, there's the patrol. See those guys? They can aggro you very easily. In fact, I rarely get through here without them aggroing me. Oh, and a pop up here. Look, they're just down there. I bet they see us. I bet they see us. There you go, they've seen us. Wonderful. Okay, so that's them dealt with. You come up here, and this is kind of the second leg, if you will, but it's very easy to skip. I think this might be a situation where they decided that they wanted it to be easy. And we're here with Shiro. Shiro says, sorry I missed that completely, you are fools to come here. What can mere mortals do against the power of a god? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Shiro, we don't know. No matter, your journey ends here. My Shiroken shall welcome you to this holy place and entomb you within its walls. Right, so what this second leg, if you will, is supposed to be like, Shiro Shadow decides he wants to pop at you, and he sends loads of his minions at you. And right now, you can't see because I don't have a compass on, but loads more are coming in behind us. And I think the idea is you're meant to sort of hold off in that area. But the gate opens, and you can simply walk through and kind of skip fighting most of the enemies there. A bit weird. I don't know whether they specifically decided we'll let players off because the mission was quite hard or what. But it makes Shiro's little section very, very easy. And as you might have guessed, the third leg then is about the Lich. The Lich decides he's going to try and stop you getting to the temple, which we will soon have a clear shot of as well. See, look, those guys over there? But they're very easy to dodge, like I said. Okay, so the Lich says, you may well be impressed with yourselves to have made it this far, but do not expect me to be as friendly as that Canthan bodyguard. Your presence is an affront to this temple's Margnite worshippers. You shall be greeted with open claws and shown no remorse in their house. In the unlikely event that you survive their wrath, I shall be waiting. And we get a kind of, I like this, it's a throwback to the last mission of Prophecies where we had to close those portals to all the different areas of the world. It's the same deal here. You've got the portals, they're constantly spewing things out, as you can see here, there's 5 of them, and you need to defeat 3 portal wraiths to continue. This bit can catch people out. There are actually some really nice, very quick ways to do it, like you can run through and stand here and blow them up before they get stuff out, and all kinds of cool things. I want to take it safe though, and show you guys just the mission sort of as legitimately as possible. Anyway, so let's aggro these guys. Generally a rule of thumb is to just be careful, I guess. If we killed all 3 of these torment creatures, more would spawn out of the portal, but you can kill 2 and leave the other one and then no more are going to spawn, and that's generally a very good idea. So you want to kill 2 things and then start killing the portal wraiths straight away, who are quite heavy hitters, by the way. And then once you've done that, well, once the portal's dead, then you can feel free to clear up the last of the patrol. There you go, the last portal wraith's about to die, and the portal closes. And you just do that 5 times, essentially. There is a pretty cool sight, which I'll show you in a second. Let's clear out these torment creatures first, though. Look at that, by the way, there's still more floating stuff. That wall there, by the way, is a wall to the temple, and look, there's a floating building above it. How cool is that? I've never noticed that. Anyway, so yeah, you want to go anti-clockwise, and you come around here to some Marganites and 3 more portal wraiths. Everything that comes out patrols, so you might think, oh, let's just run in and kill the portal wraiths, but they will inevitably come back. Okay, so that's 3 of 5 down. 3 of 5 still open, sorry. And, okay, so now we get another cool sight. There's this big guy here, he's called an Armageddon Lord. I never showed you guys this, but in the final mission of Prophecies, as you know, I didn't do the bonuses on my first series. And in the final mission, the bonus was you actually find out that the Lich had assigned these 3 really powerful titans called the Armageddon Lords. And these guys were supposedly coordinating all of the attacks on Tyria. And they actually give you another Armageddon Lord to fight on this mission, which is really cool, I think. I really do like that. Anyway, 2 of 5 open, just 2 to go. Anyway, so 2 left. You've got this one here and this one here. Some big, long stretching patrols, as you can see, like these Marganites. This is the entrance to the temple, by the way. You can't just skip and go into the temple because the Lich, I suppose, is holding the door shut somehow. Anyway, so we've got the Marganites to deal with and a bunch of more portal wraiths. Okay, and just the last portal, this one over here. And there you have it. We're still fighting, but all of the rifts are now shut. So we've thwarted Shiro's and the Lich's attempts to stop us getting to the temple. And as you can see over there, the door is now open to the Temple of the Sixth God. I found it really weird thinking about how this used to be sort of on the shores of the Crystal Sea. Do you remember Augury Rock as well from Prophecies? I mentioned it when we got there, actually, that it's really bizarre to think that Augury Rock, as well as this temple, were just perhaps on islands just out in the middle of a beautiful Crystal Sea. It is pretty crazy to think of. Anyway, so yeah, the temple is where a lot of kind of stuff happens, both in the gameplay sense and in the story sense. So I'll see what I can do. Okay, first thing is the bonus for this mission. pretty much the Margonites have defaced all of the shrines to the other gods, as we were told before. The only shrine that hasn't been defaced is Abaddon's one, which, funnily enough, if you actually go to it, you can read the scriptures, but you can't actually see the statue there. The statue just seems to be missing. But anyway, so the bonus is to recapture all of the shrines. There's actually a boss fight in here. If I try and get a good look for you. Oh, I'll just hell, let's just go in. Okay, so you'll see that it's a kind of a big ring, and inside are both Shiro and the Lich. Did the Margonites wear you out? No? Good. We hoped you might have some strength left for us. Okay, so the undead Lich speaks, and so does Shiro. You cannot stop Nightfall. Abaddon shall rule the world as the one and only true God. And you have to fight the big bosses from the previous games at the same time, at the end of a super long mission. Okay guys, that's the end of the episode. It was a 30-minute episode, all edited, and I didn't know whether I wanted to leave it in one piece or split it in two. I decided to split it in two, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time for this big fight and the scriptures and all that kind of stuff. So see you next time.